Hello YouTube, this is Chuck again. I'm back and it's still Tuesday, March 14th. And we're on a little back road called Houston Mesa Road outside of Payson, and there's this little subdivision here called Beaver Valley. And the mountain right up in front of you is called Little Diamond Rim. And we're going to do a little windshield tour here of the upper end of Houston Mesa Road where we cross the river, and it's kind of a pretty area up here. If you notice that hillside over there, it kind of looks like it was burned off, and it was years ago. I was actually on that fire. And when we get down here to the bridge, I'll tell you what my job was. Because I was assigned to initially we responded, it was a Forest Service incident, and we were dispatched to it to assist them. And so we got down here, and my first assignment was to a staging officer. So whenever a unit would check in, they'd contact me, and I'd decide where we want to send them to. I'm with Wayne in his Jeep right now, so if we bounce around a little bit, it's the Jeep's fault. But I was actually staged right here on this bridge. This bridge is called First Crossing along the East Verde River. I'll pan around there so you can see the river while we cross the bridge. Unfortunately, not as good as I'd hoped. But there's 3 crossings here, and they're named appropriately first, second, and third crossing. But later on in my job, I was the lookout, and I was still assigned to that bridge. And if the fire moved toward that subdivision, my job was to let the firefighters in the subdivision know so they could leave and not get trapped. We'd already evacuated all the citizens from there. But this next little section of this road is pretty spectacular, so I figured I'd give you what I could like to call a windshield tour. This last one I did, of course, was coming back down the hill out of Crazy Town. And that one's received quite a few views. I loaded it up on Kevin's channel, and Kevin's channel is called Arizona Squatch, and we have some stuff on there. That's more of a Sasquatch related channel.
I'm going to pull off here and let a couple people go by us.
Okay.
So we can not be in other people's way.
This little spot down here where this little parking lot is a place called Water Wheel. And back up the canyon there's a little side canyon. You can see this is pretty popular. There's a lot of people here. We're going to pull in, let traffic go by us since we're kind of driving along here as the camera car. But even here on a Tuesday, this area is pretty popular. But back up the way there a little bit, there's a side canyon, and it has a pretty nice waterfall and a swimming hole. And those of you that pay attention to the news here a few years ago, they had a wall of water come down through here and ended up killing 2 members of a family from the Phoenix, or 10 members, excuse me, of a family from the Phoenix area. Well, that happened just up this creek here, just a little ways. So now we're back up on the road again. We're just letting traffic go by. But anyway, that was First Crossing. That was Water Wheel. Now we're going to head up the hill here. If you notice, once we get around this corner, you can see the burned trees up here along the top there. The fire, which was called appropriately the Water Wheel fire, actually burned over the top of this mountain. It used to be all tall pine trees and stuff, and you can still see a few of the burned out stumps still sticking there. But it's a pretty little drive. Just like I say, I'm only showing you part of it. I'm going to show you out the window here, see if I can put the window down, see if I can get it a little better without getting too much wind noise. Now the waterfall and swimming hole that I'm telling you about is right over in there. It's about a half a mile walk from the parking area. Up here we've got a switchback, and then instantly it turns into pine trees again. And when we get to a spot up here, I'm going to see if Wayne can stop, because I want to tell you a little story about a spot here. These used to all be low water crossings, and every time the river was up, this little community up in here would be isolated. And okay, Wayne, slow down, and stop right there. Okay, I'm pan back down the creek there, and you see that big rectangular shaped rock there? If you ever watched the TV series The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams, this view right here was on their opening credits when they talked about Grizzly Adams for the TV show, because a bunch of that was filmed up here. Okay, well, spin back around. Go ahead, Wayne. Thank you. But they came in here a few years ago, and they got some grant money, and they replaced all the low water crossings with bridges. So this little subdivision's up here, the private land. There's several little what they call in-holdings of private land up here, and they're not isolated anymore. The river doesn't hold them up. They can get in and out of here. We did have a couple snowstorms where they were trapped in here for a couple of days until they got the snow plowed off the road, but that doesn't happen too much anymore. So there's quite a few people that work in town that live out here. The end where we're going to be at is actually 12 miles from where we turned off in town, and we're going to go up here to the junction where this particular road that we're on ends, and then we'll turn around and come back. But we're going to just show you the video for this far because it's kind of a spectacular drive through here. There's a lot of people like to walk along the river here, and this is where they're parking. The river's over there to the left. You can't really see it from here. We got one more nice crossing here, and then we got the little community of Whispering Pines, and I'll keep the camera on through that. You notice everything, the forest here all looks kind of thinned out a little bit, and they did that for fire purposes a few years ago. So in case they get a fire in here, this gives them maybe a chance to stop it. It's called a shaded fuel break. They take out a lot of the brush and the smaller trees. Now we're coming around into the bridge on 3rd Crossing. They did a really nice job in these little bridges. They look really nice. Spin you around to the window there, you can see the river where we're crossing it. Just a real pretty little picturesque area. It's still March, so of course the trees that hadn't started leafing out yet. The elevation here is probably around 5,500 feet or so. I'm not sure exactly. They even have a little fire station here. We're actually coming up on the fire station. You know how I always like to show fire stations. There's their engine 71, a little 4x4 HME.
Like a Tonka truck.
Yeah, like Wayne said, it looks like a Tonka truck. A little short wheelbase 4-wheel drive thing for getting around up here. The only thing wrong with those, of course, they don't have a lot of compartment space, and the water tanks aren't very big, but they can get around in this country. This little fire department here actually has 4 stations located in various ones of these little backcountry subdivisions.
You mentioned earlier that water's coming in the form of rain tonight and tomorrow. And
right.
We're concerned with the snow melt, but the people on the channel don't see any of the snow because it's all gone.
Yeah, down here
for the most part here it's just up on the
right.
rim.
Yeah, down here the snow is gone, but we're kind of at the base of the rim here, and there's still quite a bit up on top. But the snow level is real high in this storm that's coming in tonight, and they're expecting the rain because it's a tropical type storm. They call them the Pineapple Express because it comes from Hawaii, and they expect it to have rain on top of the snowpack, which will cause the snow to melt really fast. Okay, I'm going to have Wayne stop again right up here by this chain link fence, if you would, sir. And there's a monument right up there. See the rock a little further past that green sign?
Yep, I do.
And
it's in somebody's yard now.
Yeah, it's in somebody's yard now, and their dog's going to come out and bark at us. So I'm going to flip the camera around, and now you can go ahead and pause that there and zoom that, and that'll tell you some history about this area here. And I'll do another video about this whole thing, and I'll probably do a screen grab off of this and talk to you about what originally happened here. But this right now is in somebody's yard. Okay, we'll go ahead and head on up there. See, the county parks a grader there part of the time when they grade the dirt part of the roads. The road we're on is paved up until the end of it up here. It's another half mile or so. But then most of the rest of the roads around here are dirt. So whenever there's a little bit of moisture that allows them to work the roads, the county puts a grader up here. Some pretty places in here, but a lot of the places are real small, and this part of the road here, as you can tell, is pretty narrow. A lot of these homes are weekend places, people from the Phoenix area that just come up here on the weekends. Not a whole lot of permanent residents. There's kind of a pretty one up there. Another kind of pretty one off here to the side. We're up here at the stop sign at the end of the road here. I'm going to go ahead and shut her down for now. There's a little church here. And we'll talk to you again real soon. So as I always say, take care of each other, love each other, and we'll be back with you real soon. And there's another bridge over there over the river.